Hi, I'm Dr. Karan Madan, a doctor by profession and a watch collector by passion. At this point in time, at Chronoholic, we have over 16,000 watch collectors with us. And so, we have 16,000 stories to tell. As the founder of Chronoholic, it is my immense privilege to bring you Chronoholic stories from across the country. And in today's episode, our special guest is... At Chronoholic, it is our mission to put the Indian watch community front and center and reassert our place as the drivers of the industry. And for that, it is very important to bring focus to some of the notable collectors and friends of the community. So today, our guest is Mr. Aditya Jassi.
Thanks for having me, Karan. इतनी तारीफ तो मेरे घर वालों ने भी नहीं की है. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. I've been a collector for a while.
Yeah.
And I love talking about watches, and I love talking about music, and I just love talking.
Yeah. So, well, Aditya, the guy right here. So, the Indian watch community knows you as the man with the golden voice who can set any party ablaze with his magic, and the wider industry loves you, absolutely loves you across the nation. But tell us, who is Aditya Jassi, the man?
Oh man. First off, I hate talking about myself.
I think we all do.
Yeah. But I've had a pretty colorful past, man. I wasn't always a watch collector.
Sure.
Because I didn't always have the money, right? So I basically studied in a boarding school.
Okay.
And I basically started learning music there.
Sure.
Because in a boarding school, it's all about holistic development. It's not just about studies.
Right.
So I was heavily into theater and music and sports.
Right.
So I formed a band. That band continued in college.
Wow.
But I also come from the era where people like, hey, music is great, but what do you do?
Right. कमाओगे कैसे?
काम क्या करते हो?
Right, exactly. What's your profession?
So back in 99, right after I finished high school, I enrolled into aviation.
Okay.
So I wanted to become a commercial pilot, and I flew for a while.
Okay.
I got my PPL, and then unfortunately in 2001, WTC happened in the US, September 11th, and a circuit in Delhi was over the US Embassy.
Yeah.
So things were a little fragile at that point in time.
Closed off, and
so they shut the Delhi Flying Club, and they shifted the aircrafts to Hisar and Karnal or some other place, and that wasn't suiting me. I mean, monetarily as well, and otherwise.
Sure.
So then I did my master's in mass communication.
Okay.
Then I joined an ad agency. Then I started writing for newspapers.
Oh wow.
Then I had a weekly byline in Midday and Pioneer and Asian Age and all of that.
Right.
Then I became a news anchor, a news reporter. But all this while, music was where my love lay. So I always had a band.
Right.
And no matter how I felt, happy, tired, sad, whatever, I always found my solace in music.
Sure.
And I think in about 2006, I got an opportunity to audition for a reality show.
Oh, wow.
And I took it up, and I did decently enough.
Yeah.
The funny bit was कि उस time पे मेरे को सिर्फ 2 ही हिंदी गाने आते थे.
Okay.
Because the band I had, it was a rock band, and we used to used to play AC/DC and Zeppelin and Van Halen along with our own English rock music.
Right. So you're saying you used to create Indian rock music too?
Yeah. So yeah, we had like our own album and everything, and in fact, if I can, we won the best album at the first Indian Rock Awards.
Oh my God, really? That's awesome.
It was called the JD Rock Awards, and and then. But rock music per se was like very quickly I realized that if you want to do music in India, Bollywood's what's going to pay the bills, right? Sure. Because it's a very cult audience amongst the cult audience. Bollywood or Hindi or independent music, whatever. But I mean, language had to be it had to be more local.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I went for a reality show. I did decently well.
Yeah.
I then came back, gave up my job, went to Bombay, did the hard yard, struggled. At one point in time, I had no money. So literally the entire story that you hear about people living off on vada paos and all of that, I did that.
Wow.
And for a year, it was like I couldn't afford a McDonald's burger because like I didn't have the money.
Right.
And then one fine day, I still remember that day. I mean, I had like 80 rupees in my bank account. And I was like, dude, what am I going to do? Kya kare? And I had 12 rupees in my pocket. And a vada pav would cost me $6.
Right.
And I got a call from a studio in Bandra that wanted me to sing a jingle for them.
Okay.
And so I was like, khana khaya jaye ya local li jaye? Because local was 7 rupees from Andheri to Bandra.
Right.
And khana was $6. So I was like, khana khate hain. And then I walked from Lokhandwala to Bandra.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Lokhandwala to Bandra.
Yeah.
And being a Delhi, even I know that distance.
Yeah, and it was like, I think it was May.
Yeah.
And May in Bombay in the afternoon is like, whoa.
Sweltering heat.
Yep. So I went and I reached the studio after, I don't know, 2-3 hours, maybe more. And the first thing I did was I just collapsed on the sofa and I was like, oh, AC. And then I sang the jingle and I got paid like 3.5 grand.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And for me, that was like the most. That was like. मतलब इससे ज़्यादा अच्छा पैसा मेरे को नहीं मिल सकता.
Hard earned.
Like they were hard earned.
Yeah.
The first thing I did, I went to KFC.
Yeah.
I got a bucket of chicken. I still remember it was Linking Road, Bandra.
Yeah.
The KFC there. I went. I got a bucket of chicken. Took a Kali Pili taxi.
Wow.
Went back to Lokhandwala feeling like a prince. And I think that's when I realized that how stubborn and how much self-belief you need in order to be in the creative field.
Yeah.
And I've always maintained that every once in a while you will come across hurdles.
Yeah.
And there's this one hurdle that if you cross, life's sorted.
That's kind of the watershed movement,
but
right?
a lot of people tend to take a U-turn and then they go back, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want the what ifs. So then I mean that's how it was, man. And then after that I did a couple of movies, got an album, just started playing gigs everywhere.
Wonderful. And
this is in a nutshell. Yeah.
In a nutshell, yes. I'm sure there's a lot to unpack in there, and I've been to one of his gigs. I had a swell time. Trust me. If you can make it, go to one of his gigs. So tell me, that's Aditya Jassi for you, but let's circle back to watches.
Yep.
How did you get into the hobby of collecting watches?
So, I remember the first watch that really enamored me. I was a kid and I must be like 6, 7 maybe, I don't know, around that age. And it was my dad's Rado. And it was one of those black and gold
the two-tone kind of thing.
Rados, and it just sort of, it just attracted me to it.
Right.
And I think that was the first watch that I ever saw.
Okay.
And then when I graduated to the 6th grade, my dad got me, he got me it was a Timex or a Titan Mickey Mouse kind of a very Disney sort of a watch.
Right.
Because I had just started, I learned how to read time and things like that. The first watch that I ever bought with my own money was in class 10th.
Wow.
So you collect all that Shagan Cup.
Right.
On your birthday. On your birthday, your grandmom gives you $500 and some auntie comes and gives you $500 for just doing peripona. So the first watch I ever picked up was the Casio calculator.
Wow.
Which I think everyone had and everyone loved.
Absolutely.
I always wanted, so I don't know if you remember or not, I always wanted the remote control Casio watch.
With which you could change the TV channel.
You could switch on the TV, you could change the channel.
Yeah.
But it was too expensive for me back then.
But I think the Casio calculator is a kind of a rite of passage for most Indian watch collectors. That's pretty common across the board.
And honestly, I feel Casio is still killing it,
Absolutely.
They're still killing it, man. I mean, so that. Then when I started making some money, The first watch I ever bought was a Tag Grand Carrera.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
so I love tags.
Sure.
Not so much because of what they were,
Yeah.
but I think there's more of an emotional value there.
Sure.
I think everyone's first luxury watch is usually a Tag
Ororado.
or a Rado.
Ororado, yeah.
Right?
So you were exposed to Orado, yes,
Yeah.
and then you went for a tag.
So and it was something about the Tag Grand Carrera that I absolutely loved.
yeah.
I absolutely loved.
With those semi-visible registers. and
Correct.
everything. Yeah,
It was it had a sunburst blue dial, like a dark blue dial, and it was awesome. So that was my first like luxury watch.
Okay.
And I also realized, like, for guys, there's not really too much that we can fiddle around with.
Not really, yeah.
So like we don't have a lot of jewelry. Like for me personally, I love collecting watches. I love collecting guitars, and I love collecting sneakers. Guitars is more like they pay for itself.
Yeah, right.
Two
Absolutely.
gigs and
then they'll pay for
they'll pay for itself.
Yeah.
Watches is a black hole, man.
As is sneakers, if you kind of actually delve into it,
Yeah.
and I'm into sneakers apart from watches, so I totally sympathize.
Yeah. So, but watches is like my first love,
Right.
as opposed to sneakers.
Sure.
And it's a rabbit hole. If
Yeah,
if you want to get into watch collecting, don't.
Let's reserve that message for the end. Tell us.
Yeah, because it's never ending, man. It's never ending.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So the range of first watches that you went through, the first was that you actually seriously bought as a watch nerd was the Tag Heuer Grand
the
Carrera.
Grand Carrera.
What came next? What's the other watches?
So from here,
you have a great selection of watches with us today, and let's dive
okay, so
deep into
let's
it.
get into the first one. This is a Rolex.
Batman.
Every watch collector wants a Rolex. I wanted a Rolex.
I'm wearing one, so yeah.
I
sure.
wanted a Rolex. So it's a great story though for the Batman. This is a Batman. For those who don't know, it's a GMT Master 2. And when I was 35, I decided to gift myself a Rolex for my 40th.
Okay.
There's a great story to it, by the way.
Please.
So I was 35, and when I was 35, I didn't have money to buy a Rolex, right?
Sure.
And then a couple of years later, COVID struck.
Okay.
Everything went into lockdown.
Right.
And then there were no watches,
Sure.
right? Now cut to, this was 2021.
Okay.
2021. I'm already 39 years old and a few months into turning 40.
Sure.
And I get a call to play an event in Chandigarh.
Right.
And I was just sitting and talking to this gentleman like that. And I was wearing a Bell & Ross.
Okay.
And he goes, hey, that's a nice Bell & Ross.
Sure.
And for me, it was like, yeah, nobody knows about Bell & Ross. At least I haven't come across anyone who knows
And
about
how many people out of the
Bell &
blue
Ross.
start talking about watches?
Start
in the first
talking about
place,
watches.
Right.
And he goes, son, you're playing in the House of Watches, right? And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, I own Ethos.
Oh my
and that
God.
was Mr. Yashu Sabu.
Oh wow! Look at that.
And we were sitting and we were talking and he goes, hey Pranav, come. You might like this watch. And I was like, wait, is it happening? All the manifestations are coming through.
It's happening. Yep.
So we got talking and everything, and we started talking watches, and obviously Pranav also realized that I'm a collector. Yashu uncle also realized that I'm a collector. We're sitting and talking. We're talking about the Batman, that how I wanted to gift myself a Batman, and I told Pranav that brother, I'm going to play 2 hours extra for the Batman, and you're going to be my best friend for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And anyway, we just hit it off, man. I mean, it was just because the entire Sabu family is they're just such nice people. They're just so nice people.
They are. That they definitely
They're
are.
so nice. And then we started talking, and then I get a call the next day from Pranav saying that please go to Ethos.
Yeah.
There's a Batman waiting for you.
Oh, superb. Look at that. That's amazing.
And this watch is going to be like... So this is like my first Rolex.
Yeah.
So, the first one's always very, very
Yep.
special.
Yep.
So from then on, I mean, I have like about 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But the
this
first
one is super duper special.
Always holds special meaning.
Yep.
But I also know that you own a very nice Zeppelin. Tell me about
Oh,
that.
the story of the Zeppelin. It was that very night.
Yeah.
And
When you were playing the gig.
When I was playing the gig.
Yeah.
Right after the show,
Yeah.
Yasho sir comes out with a box and he goes, I know this doesn't match your collection,
Right.
but here's something from my side. And it was a Zeppelin.
Oh, wow.
And for me, just the sheer emotional value of that watch is, it's beyond,
Right.
and it's a fantastic watch.
that
I
is,
wear it
yeah.
all the time. Super value for money.
And I love Zeppelin. What a brand, German watchmaking,
Super value for
affordable
money.
prices, and to have that kind of story attached to it. Oh my God, amazing.
So that watch holds a very, very special place in my heart as well.
Superb. So you actually went for a gig and you ended up with 2 watches, not just one.
And the payment.
Look at that. Win. Nice. So that's the best.
And the best part is I get to do what I love.
There you go.
I get to play music.
Yeah.
I get paid for it. And then I came out with 2 watches.
2 watches too. Wow. And you have a bunch of very nice watches. And let's keep the Batman away for a second. I see a couple of very interesting watches that are not mainstream. They are unique watches for the most part. We have let's go with this one. We have
This is a Furlan Mari.
Furlan Mari, right? So tell us about this. What's your association with this?
My association with this is that I really dig this watch.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful dial.
Absolutely.
Great value for money. Just the sheer make quality, and if you just see how nicely it's made, how sharp the digits are, how sharp the indices are, how sharp the minutes and the second hands are.
Right.
It's a phenomenal watch. Just the quality of the strap. It's a quick release.
I was pretty taken aback by the strap too, because it's really, really high quality stuff.
Yep.
And you know what, guys? When new brands want to do an homage of an existing brand and an existing or a watch from the past, a heritage watch to say, this is how you do it.
Yep.
This is how you actually make a homage to a Patek Philippe watch, and you do it this way.
This is just stunning. It's
Bonkers,
just
absolutely.
I mean, if you're wearing it on your wrist, you will not believe the price.
Agreed.
Just the
Agreed.
sheer quality. I mean, it's a proper Patek homage.
Absolutely.
And it's done tastefully.
Very tastefully, absolutely. A wonderful watch. The brand is to watch out for. I mean, the one after the other, they are doing.
And they're
amazing.
killing it, man.
Yeah, they're killing it.
In fact, another one very similar, and I've always really eyed their dials, is the Chrono Tokyo.
Yeah, wonderful brand, wonderful designer, wonderful watches. The design language, such smoothness to the build and the design. You've got to experience it.
I feel there's something about Japanese watchmaking.
Yeah.
Just the sheer polishing and the quality is next level, man. It's next level. Even the machines, even the movements that they use, the people, the design, the dial design, stunning.
Stunning. You do own a Grand Seiko, yeah?
I do own a Grand Seiko.
It's not here
it's
today,
a Shunmun.
sure, but I know he owns a Grand Seiko.
I'm also a dial guy.
Yeah.
I don't know much about movements. I'll be very honest. I don't know much about
that's fair.
movements. I'm a dial guy. For me, I mean, I genuinely feel aesthetics matter.
Sure.
That's what attracts you to a watch.
Yeah.
And
So that's one unique watch, the Furlan Mari. We have a very nice watch here, the Mad One Red. Tell us about this.
Oh man! So this is my fidget spinner. Like, this is my stress watch. If I'm just going,
And then you kind of wait it out for the rotor to stop spinning. And you focus back on track.
This I feel so. I had met Max Buser at one of my trips, and I genuinely feel he's one of the nicest people I've ever met. So humble, and he's a genius. He's a legend in the watchmaking scene, just by the way.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Max Buser is, please look him up. Max is one of my top 3 best independent watchmakers in the world. So there's Max Buser, there's Konstantin Chaikin, and there's FP Jorn. I mean, I feel these 3 guys are just absolute legends.
They are.
Legends.
In their own right, absolutely.
And so I'd met him, and he was extremely nice and extremely genuine, and he put in a lot of time in just sitting and chit-chatting, getting to know me. He didn't have to. So he invited me to the Mad Gallery in Dubai and showed me around. The only thing he said was, please don't ask me for a Mad One. You have to go through the usual route.
The raffle.
Go through the raffle, and I never got it on a raffle.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. This is possibly the only watch that I have ever and will ever pay a premium for. And the reason why I paid a premium for it was because the premium was not much.
Sure. Just
It was about 25-30K more, which was nothing.
That's way that's very reasonable, I must say.
And when I picked it up, that time the premium on this watch was more than $1.5 lakh.
Sure.
So I got a brand new watch for just about 25K more. And it was and I love this watch. it's a completely ulta, inverted, right? So this is like, if you see, this is like the movement of the case is the movement.
And the time telling is down there.
And the time telling is right here on the side. So it's just a very quirky and a fun watch, man. I mean, and again, it's a superb conversation starter.
Yes, it is. I agree.
It's a fantastic
I love my
conversation
Madrid as well.
starter.
So that's two amazing watches. Then there is the third one.
Oh.
This is the Reservoir.
This is the Reservoir.
Yeah? And this is the special India edition with
this is the Popeye playing cricket.
Amazing.
Retrograde.
Amazing. And the hand actually snaps back to zero. That's amazing.
I'm a huge cricket nut.
Yeah.
I'm a huge cricket nut. It's also like a limited edition or so they say.
Yes, it is.
I don't know, it's like one of 100.
1 of 100, that's it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's 1 of 100. So, 2 people who have this watch.
Yeah.
That's me and Yuvraj Singh.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I always wanted a retrograde. Just the genius of Gentas is the retrograde.
Yeah.
And I loved the Mickey Mouse and the Donald Duck retrogrades. There was a goofy retrograde where he's playing golf.
Yes.
And the hour hand is the golf club.
Yeah.
And so I really liked them. I never got them, because A, they were very expensive. B, they're not available here.
Yeah.
And then this came about.
Right.
And I think it's just it's a fun watch.
It is a very fun watch. Yeah.
Again, a conversation starter. Has my love for cricket in it. Is an Indian edition.
Yeah.
And
I think checks a lot of boxes.
Checks a lot of boxes, man. I mean, I absolutely love it.
Very nice watch, no question. I saw it and I wanted to always check it out, but never got the opportunity. Thanks to you.
And also the dial is hand painted.
These hand painted?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
It's hand painted.
Oh wow. To have that kind of precision on a painted dial.
It's fantastic, man.
Amazing stuff.
Like I can just keep
playing
looking
with
at
it,
man. Just keep looking at it. You look at the back as well, so it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. Plus, I always wanted like a nice limited edition.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you kind of have good production models here, but the Mad one and then the Reservoir are very nice.
However, this one is my favorite watch.
The Reverso, the classic.
The Reverso JLC. This is a duo face.
Yeah.
This was gifted to me by a very, very, very special person.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, someone extremely special to me in my life.
Yeah.
And this is a watch that I'll probably. This is like my grave watch. So you have a grail watch and you have a grave watch.
Yeah.
So this is my grave watch. This is not going anywhere.
Yeah, noted. We
Not going
totally
anywhere.
hear you. Totally hear you. I think everybody should have one of those grey watches.
Now, another thing about the Reverso is that, so for those who don't know, Reverso was supposed to be a sports watch.
Yes.
It was made for polo players, back in the day.
Yeah.
So what they used to do was, the other side used to be steel, right?
Yes,
So they used to just turn it around and engrave it, or even if you got hit by the ball or whatever,
it would protect the watch.
It would protect the glass.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel that this is a fantastic dress watch.
It is.
You can rock it with shorts and t-shirt, but you can also rock it with a suit.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's slim, it's fantastic, it's a delightful watch. You just keep playing with it.
Yeah.
I also wear it a lot for my travel because the other side is a GMT, so it kind of, it makes it a lot easier.
We recently, actually, our content team did a brief history of the JLC Reverso very recently, and it's live on our website. So check it
nice.
out. Yeah, it's already on our website, and I think a lot of people give feedback that it's a very nicely done article.
Yeah.
So the watch in question right in our hands, and
Again,
what a watch!
Phenomenal, watchmakers.
Yes, certainly.
Phenomenal company.
They are a darling of the crowd. Yeah.
They are so. I genuinely feel if you're into luxury watches, you have to have a JLC. Even if it's not a Reverso, even if it's a Polaris or whatever, you just have to have a JLC.
At least dip your toes into the JLC well, find out
you
what
will
they're all
never
about.
regret it.
Yeah,
you will never ever regret this.
I agree.
So that and another thing about the JLC is if you're wearing it and someone recognizes it, you know that's a watch guy.
Absolutely. Nobody comes off the street and says, "Oh, nice jersey."
Oh, nice jersey.
Yeah.
So they know that it's a reverso.
Sure.
So yeah.
Tell me something. Before we go on to the special edition and one of the that's a very nice watch, but I'm going to come to it. There's an absolutely amazing watch on your wrist. Tell me about that.
Dude, this is a Luminor Marina Panerai.
Yeah. That's the Luminor.
This is the Luminor. It's the Dew.
It's the Dew. Okay.
And it's the Luminor Dew.
Yeah.
And I love Panerais.
Sure.
Okay, I genuinely like Panerais. I feel they're nice and clean.
Yeah.
They're very neat watches.
Yeah.
My only gripe with Panerai was that they were too big.
Sure.
Right? I mean, 45s, 47s. That doesn't suit
Panerai
me.
being Panerai, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, like a 47 dial can just envelop me altogether. Yeah, they'll just like engulf me in it. If I wear it, my hand just goes like that. So anyway, so when this launched, the Duet launched, this is a 40.
Yeah, this is the 40 mm, yes.
And again, I always wanted a Panerai. I got a great deal on this.
Yeah.
And when they launched the 40, I was probably the happiest person ever.
Wow, nice.
I went and I just bought it. So then when they launched the Duet, it was in 40
mm.
The size fit perfectly.
Yeah.
I got a Panerai.
Yeah.
I got a great watch.
Amazing.
And now I'm a Paneraisti. So I got into slimmer dials.
Sure.
Like I have an OP, which is 36 mm.
Sure.
I have a Wimbledon, which is again 36 mm.
36 mm. Okay.
So I like those. I like the 36s. So if you see the Furlan Mari also, it's a really petite dial.
If I'm not
No
mistaken.
man, it's even smaller.
Yeah.
It's 36.
Oh wow.
If not smaller.
Yeah.
So, but again, I mean, I have like a 6.5 inch wrist.
Sure.
So I don't want too bulky a watch.
Fair. It makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And it's okay to like smaller watches. It's okay to like bigger watches. People kind of become very polarized on that issue.
Yep.
We don't encourage that.
Yep.
So let's talk about. I think this is one of your another dailies, right?
This is my beater.
Yeah, the Black Bay 41.
This is the Heritage.
Yeah.
The Black Bay Heritage 41.
Yeah, nice.
So this is like my daily beater.
Yeah.
Again, sturdy as hell.
It is.
This is sturdy.
No doubt.
So people who don't know about Tudors, Tudor was started by Hans Billdorf.
Yep.
It was supposed to be a more affordable Rolex. Great build quality, Rolex-like build quality.
Sure. And now they've actually come into that. I mean, they've
come
actually,
into their own.
Absolutely, they're absolutely amazing value for money Rolex alternatives owned by the house of Rolex. Yeah. So what a great brand.
Does Rolex still own them though?
Yes.
You can wear this to war, man.
Yeah,
Nothing's gonna happen.
Absolutely. And I see you've, Black Bays, for all their robustness, they are very dressy watches, right? Especially the black with the gold gilt accents on that. Yeah. But I see you've made it really sporty with this amazing strap combo.
So this was from Horus.
Yeah.
So this watch came on a black NATO.
Yeah.
I wore it for a while.
Okay.
Then I got kind of bored of NATOs.
Yeah.
And I got this from Horus.
Right. And now it's totally elevated.
Now it just, and I have a couple more. Sure. One is an all red, one is an all olive.
Okay.
So I keep changing them.
Right.
And it just sort of, with every new strap, it just makes it a new watch.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of the Pelagos as well.
Yeah, me too. I love
they look identical.
Yeah.
But
so much character difference actually. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And off late, I mean, I'm loving the chronos, man. The
pink.
The pink.
and the flamingo blue as well.
So
Miami blue.
Anyone who can hear me and is willing to get me a pink chrono
let's do it for
Tudor.
Him. Let's do it for him. Come on. I mean, I
will record a song and release it online and send you all the money for streaming.
Wow, look at that. Just for one watch. Come on. Some 80, Rolex 80, do it for him. I know, some Tudor 80, do it for him. Come on.
So yeah, I love it. That's the watch that and this is like my daily beater. I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Wonderful watch, absolutely wonderful watch. And just to round off the watches that we have on the table, and then we'll move on to different discussions. We have a wonderful, absolutely amazing special edition watch right here. That is the Snoopy.
Oh.
Tell me about this.
Yeah, what's to tell, yeah. I mean...
Well, don't tell us about the watch. I mean, tell us how you got it, what you like about it.
I waited about a year and a half, or nearly about a year and a half for the Snoopy.
Yeah.
So this one is the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
I love it because of the back.
Everybody loves it because of the back.
I can sit with a box of popcorn and keep just looking at it and just keep popping some popcorn and all.
Yeah.
So I bought it rather because I loved the 50th anniversary. I wasn't a big fan of the previous two.
Sure.
Again, this was just so Speedies are possibly, I mean, they're like the Omega grades.
Yeah.
You know, they're the best Omega watches.
Absolutely, yeah. Signature Omega.
Signature Omegas.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it.
Yeah.
But I always wanted a Daytona.
Sure.
Right? But ever since I got this, I don't want a Daytona.
And that's high praise for the watch. I mean, I'm a chronograph guy and I have the Daytona, but I still want this. So, but I hear you. You know, it's this watch particularly checks so many boxes.
Yeah.
It's a heritage watch. The movement is legendary. The special edition part.
It's not available.
It's not available. That too.
That's the flex.
Yeah. And then it's done so nicely. The blue accents, the Snoopy on the 9 o'clock register, the case back.
The case back is.
And then I see you've not put it on the bracelet like so many other Snoopy owners do.
So when I fell in love with this watch, I fell in love with it like this.
Because it's a complete package on the strap. Yeah.
So. And I have an Aquaterra which is on the bracelet.
Sure.
And I know for a fact eventually I am gonna get a bracelet for this.
Yeah.
But I haven't had my fill just yet.
Ah, right.
So I love the canvas.
Sure.
And I love the leather in the back.
On the back, yeah.
I love the blue. I love how it really sort of accentuates the dial.
Yes, it does.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't want to like tinker too much with it because for me I've waited a really long time.
Sure. And
you know?
don't want to tinker with it, not just yet, right?
And I'm not one of those guys, like if you see, I don't like too much modification.
Sure.
If I buy a car, it's simple and basic.
Sure.
I don't modify it
I see
much.
mostly stock straps here.
So everything is stock, barring this.
Barring the
because I got it and I like literally ripped the NATO apart because I wore it so much.
Oh, wow.
And then obviously Horus straps are amazing.
Sure.
Mark Margolis,
Absolutely.
you're the man.
I own a couple too and excellent quality.
They're amazing. So in fact, there's
rubber bee.
Rubber bees.
Yeah.
Now rubber bees are great for Rolexes.
Yes, they are.
They're like fully integrated.
Yeah.
So coming back to this, So this was something that I waited a long time.
Yeah.
I'd be damned if I ever pay premium for a watch. So I don't mind waiting.
Yeah.
And I feel that it's not really getting that watch.
Yeah.
It's the journey to the watch.
Journey to the watch, yes.
That really makes it,
all the more
worthwhile.
Special. All the more special, yeah.
And that's it.
Wow, that's amazing. Tell me something. We've this is a good selection of your watches, part of what you own. Tell me something. What is one watch that you associate the most with your love, your music? What's the one watch that you?
So I haven't got it here, but it's the Hamilton.
The Ventura?
The Ventura.
Oh, nice! Look at that.
And I mean, that for those who don't know, Ventura was basically it was made famous by Elvis.
Yeah.
Because he wore it, and that I just wanted it because it's a cool looking watch.
Yes, it is. That is.
So that obviously that has that I mean the whole musical journey to it.
Yeah.
But every watch that I have is thanks to my music.
Sure.
Because I've also associated watches with goals.
Sure.
Like every time I don't just go randomly and just buy stuff.
Right.
So I keep certain goals, and when I achieve that goal, I buy that watch. Yeah. So every watch is bought at a special moment or gifted by a special person, or things like that. So.
There's a lot of sentimental value attached to our watch, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, you can play around, go out and buy maybe a 50K, 100K Seiko, but I don't know how much sentimental value would be attached to a random purchase versus things that have been gifted to you or you've specifically bought when you achieve milestones.
Like I have my HMT.
Yeah.
I have an HMT. In fact, I had two HMTs, which I picked up. Because I was talking to my dad one day and he was talking about how he picked up an HMT back in the day for 103 rupees, right? And HMT has come back with a bang, right? So I was just online and I was seeing this watch and it was like my dad's HMT. So I immediately ordered it and I got two. One was with a green dial and I got a Devanagari.
So
I have that as well. So that's So I have a few watches.
Sure.
but there are stories attached to most of them. Like the Zeppelin, for example.
Right.
That's such a sweet story.
Absolutely. So tell me, was Elvis also one of the inspirations for you to get into music? Because I want to know how your school band fared and what's the story there? Just circling back to your music career.
So in school, it was like a Christian school, right?
Sure.
So I grew up on a lot of English music there.
Right.
I used to listen to Elvis, Queen, Beatles, ABBA, and then as I grew a little older, I got into rock and roll.
Sure.
I got into classic rock, AC/DC, Zeppelin.
Right.
Then I got into grunge.
Nice.
So one of my favorite bands ever is Pearl Jam.
Oh man, you're speaking my language.
So I have the tattoo right here somewhere.
Wow, look at that.
So that's the stick figure Pearl Jam tattoo.
Yeah.
And this is Robert Plant. It's my favorite singer.
Yeah.
That's Robert Plant. And I got into AC/DC, Purple, Pearl Jam, Metallica, and then graduated to a little more heavier stuff.
Sure.
You know, got into like Maiden and Ozzy and all of that.
Right.
But every time I'd come back home,
Yeah.
you know, my parents were into Lakshmikant Pyarelal, R.D., Kishore Da,
Yeah.
Mohammad Rafi Saab.
Yeah.
So I got like a great mix of both.
Absolutely.
And but I always wanted to sing rock music.
Right.
Like even when I had a band, I had an English rock band.
Right.
You know, I was like, I will play Van Halen. I will play RHCP. I want to play Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
And I want to write my own songs. But then you realize that Badtameez Dil is what pays the bills.
Well, yeah. So you gotta do what you.
So you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. Okay,
And then
me.
obviously I think Hindi music is extremely difficult.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. Maybe it's just because it's coming from me.
Sure.
And I grew up on a lot of English music.
Right.
But I love my retro Bollywood. I love the retro side of songs. You know, I mean, there's a reason why those songs have just stood the test of time.
Absolutely.
After 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my parents were kids when those songs came out, and
And you would still listen to them, and
I listen to them. I still play them. I play them live.
There you go. That's awesome. That's amazing. Okay. Any regrets in the hobby? Any watches that you missed buying or regret selling?
I've never sold a watch.
Really?
Yeah, I sometimes feel I should, because I feel it's not fair for the watches, because not a lot of them get wrist time.
Right.
And also another thing I've realized with collectors, you know, once we start buying, sometimes we just like randomly buy.
That's true.
You know, like I have a couple of watches that I despise.
But you bought them.
But I bought them.
Yeah.
And now I can't get it off my hands because people don't want to buy them. You know?
And it hurts, right? That you're not unable to give them your wrist time and do justice to those watches.
Yeah. Okay. And I can't double wrist for some reason. I can't do that. No, I can't do that.
I cannot do it regularly. So, Aditya, tell me, do you have any short-term goals or any long-term goals? What watch is next?
Short-term goals, long-term goals, as in work-wise or just watches? Yeah, like I said, I mean, I have goals about what I want to buy next or what's my grail watch.
Right.
But I genuinely feel grail watches keep changing.
Sure, yeah.
At this point in time, so when we talk about the Trinity, the Pateks and the APs and the Vacherons, I love the Vacherons more. And more than the overseas, my favorite Vacheron is the historic 1921.
Nice. Oh, great choice.
And I love it in rose gold.
Sure.
And that is a watch that I genuinely want. I'm saving up for it.
Yeah.
And when I get it, then I'll look for another grill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that should always be the goal, to keep chasing something, to have a goal in sight and a watch in sight. You know, that's a great philosophy.
And another one that I really truly like is the Elegante by FP Journe.
Yeah.
It's a quartz watch at a very affordable price.
Yeah.
Just that you don't get it.
Yeah.
But that watch is magic, man.
Yeah,
I don't know how he's done it, but that watch is. You guys should totally look up the Elegante.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It's an amazing watch. What a watchmaker, of course.
Yeah. Off late, I genuinely feel that my fill with watches I've kind of come to the brim.
Yeah.
So the only thing that really excites me is the Vacheron. That's something that really excites me. But again, I don't want to just go out there and buy it.
Yeah.
There's something there's some goal attached to it, or some story that it has to mean something to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at.
So I really wish and I pray for you that you find your goal soon. And
No, I have it in mind.
But there you go. Then the watch is coming soon.
Yeah, I don't want to say it out loud, but yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Wonderful. We look forward to that watch as well. Just to round everything off, I mean, we've had a great conversation. Thank you for your time, of course.
Pleasure's all mine, man.
Is there a message that you want to give to what people getting into the hobby right now and to chronoholics across the nation?
You know what I'm gonna say? Don't get into it.
No, get into it.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And how? But I'll tell you what, if you are into watches and if you want to get into watches, first and foremost, please don't worry about what the market says. Please don't worry about, it's a very subjective thing.
Sure.
Just like anything that's any material, it's a very subjective thing. You might like it, you might not. So go for something that you truly love. And I also feel that watches is, I mean, when you go out to buy a watch, the watch speaks to you.
Certainly.
You know, so it could be something as basic as a Timex.
Sure.
It could be a Casio G-Shock, which I absolutely love. It could be a Rolex.
Yeah.
It could be a Raymond wheel. It could be a Rado, whatever. But that watch is gonna speak to you.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, okay, this is what I want. There'd be like a plethora of watches on the table, a bunch of watches. You'll very easily pick out one. Don't worry about whether it's an investment.
Right.
Don't worry about whether this is the in thing.
Right.
I mean, you have to wear it. You have to like it.
Sure.
So just, I mean, if that's the case, then just go for what you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a recurring question that comes to us on Chronoholic is this: that what should I buy? And I always tell people, you do you.
Yeah. One more thing. I also feel if you ever have to take a loan to buy a watch, please don't buy it.
Do not do that. Absolutely.
Please don't buy it.
Don't do that.
I mean, it's not worth it.
Not worth it. Yeah.
And neither is paying premium for a watch.
Right.
I genuinely feel so too. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, there you have it. We can all safely say that we know Aditya Jassi, the man, a lot better today. And thank you for your time, Aditya.
Thanks for having me, Gaurav. This was awesome, man. This was awesome. And I love talking watches. We can do part 2 as well, no problem.
No, so just before we wind up, I want to give him a shout out. He has a wonderful page on Instagram called Adi's Live. Give it a follow. That's where you can contact him and his band for bookings, for gigs, and you'll have a swell time. I promise that. I've experienced it personally. So we'll be back with another episode of Chronoholic Stories with Karan, and thank you. That's a wrap.